System override. System override.
Hello, welcome to episode 190 of System Override.
We are your host,
Joe.
and Brian.
First, we'll check in with the guys from Vinyl Press to see what music they listened to over the week.
Then we'll drive into a brand new episode of Car Culture.
And finally, stick around for the next installment of Beta.
So enough talking, let's listen to some Deadmau5 and check out the new episode of Vinyl Press.
This is Vinyl Press.
Vinyl press.
Wow, that was actually impressive.
That's what he does.
That was actually
He's
pretty
good at it.
Yeah. This week, Brian's hosting.
I am hosting, and the album I picked was Random Album Title by Deadmau5.
I listened to this album and I thought, like, I just felt like it was one continuous song because I listened to it, like, in its entirety. Turns out, looking back, all the songs were mashed together.
Yes.
However, going back, there is differences in the song, and the one song that stuck out was either Brazilian or I Remember.
Brazil second edit.
Yeah,
Yeah.
Brazil second edit. The other ones, like I said, just faded into each other and just mashed in my brain, and I could not tell you which song is which, but I do know which one's Brazilian and which ones I remember.
Yeah.
Like you can tell the difference.
you look really defeated. Like I said, if that's any consolation, you looked at me with
Well,
pain in your eyes.
Because you ended it in consolation.
Well,
like,
guys, that wraps up this week.
Oh,
of Vinyl
no.
Press.
Oh, no.
I'm your host, signing out.
He's just going to
he
leave.
just jumps through the window.
Pretty much.
Oh gosh,
Here, Drayton, what do you think of the album?
I liked it, but you can still hear the roughness of it because it's still his first album. Because you can hear the rough edges and a little bit of just little off things that you notice. You know.
Well, to go with the continuous mix sound, one song sound, he mixed it kind of like a DJ
Like a set, yeah. Yeah, you brought that up last week,
Yep.
where it's meant to be played all at one time because it's meant to be played like at a concert, effectively.
Yeah.
Where it's meant to
Yeah.
be like that.
It's a feel like that. Yeah, pretty much. Right.
Sam, you've been very passionate this episode. Could you give us some more of that fire? More of that.
That fire you're giving us this episode.
What?
The
What kind
bad boy of this.
I am
this
the
pod.
bad boy.
Good thing I'm wearing all black because you're just burning me.
Oh no! Don't burn the boy. It's his big day.
You speak so highly. If you were to give it a score, what would it be?
8.
8?
8.
8
8.
You're aware you gave Caravan
and 8.75.
0.8.
8 point.
There we go.
Just
You're
the
just
one
making
up
this
you.
really confusing.
You're welcome.
It just
All right, I'm going to give it a 6.78 or 5.
I would give it like a 6, like a 6 or like a 6.5, you know, just to kind of make it a little harder. But because I feel like it graduates past being like average, you know, but it's not enough to make me go back to it too often. Because I probably go back to it for like I Remember and Brazil or like Faxing Berlin, but only the piano version, honestly.
Sam's been quiet, so I'm expecting a low score from him.
Yep.
I hope it's a really high score and he's just hustling
Yeah,
all
no,
year.
no, he's
He's
been
like-
silent the entire time. He's like, 10 out of 10. This is my new favorite thing.
Well, if I had to give it a score, I'd probably give it a 6.5, 7 maybe.
Whoa, that's higher
ooh.
than I thought.
I'll take the
No,
7.
I definitely didn't dislike it.
You
Like,
take the 7.
I feel like this album would be one of those albums that would be good to hear live. Like a lot of these songs,
Oh,
I feel
yeah.
like would be like
was-
significantly better live.
It was awesome live. I've
Yeah.
seen some of these.
Oh, I believe it.
I
definitely.
forgot all of our scores, so I'll just add them up in post.
That show is sweet. I love how they review different genres too.
Same here. So, Joe, are you ready to learn about the history of a popular car?
I was born ready.
Then let's watch a new episode of Car Culture.
What's up, guys? I'm Corey, and this is Car Culture, where each week we talk about our top favorite cars and break them down just for you. Without further ado, let's get episode 3 started right now. This week we're talking about one of Dodge's greatest creations, the Dodge Viper.
Dodge Viper. Dodge Stealth. Screen therapy starts at a little over $18,200. See your nearest Dodge dealer. He'll be there for you.
The Viper is an iconic, high-performance, rear-wheel drive muscle car, being able to compete with many other exotic cars due to its high-performance V10 engine that was designed with the help of Lamborghini themselves. Beginning in 1989, Dodge wanted a car that could replace the Japanese-built Dodge Stealth to compete in the Indianapolis 500, and they wanted a car that would be like the modern-day Cobra. Originally tested with the V8, the Viper was introduced in 1991 with an aluminum alloy V10 engine that was partially designed by Lamborghini. The Viper came out pushing 400 horsepower and had a 0 to 60 time of 4.6 seconds. The following year, it was released to the public as the Viper RT10 in 1992. It met its goal as a high-performance car, but it lacked a lot of features to make it an everyday driver. Breaking into the second generation in 96, the Viper only received minor changes, such as the exhaust being rerouted to the rear instead of from the sides. But later in the year, the Viper received more changes and was reintroduced as the Viper GTS. It received some changes such as the new body and roof design called the double bubble to better fit the driver and their helmets in the car. It also received a power increase in its 8-liter V10, going up to 450 horsepower versus the 400 horsepower from the generation before. However, this generation still took 90% of its components from the RT10 and wasn't majorly redesigned until the third generation in 2002. This was the first year of the iconic SRT10, which replaced the 2 previous models. Engine displacement was increased from an 8-liter to an 8.3-liter V10, which increased the horsepower to 500 horsepower, and also the engine weighed about 500 pounds less than the previous generation's engine. Also, the new 6-speed Tremec transmission was added to deliver all of the power to the rear wheels. Of course, the car also received some appearance changes, giving it a more sleek and angled body look. The SRT10 Viper came back again for its 4th generation in 2008, with its new 600 horsepower 8.4 liter. The rear axle also saw a new limited slip differential, which helped a lot with the traction when accelerating. Appearance changes for this generation weren't too extreme, but one of the main ones was the new engine vent cover on the hood. This generation only lasted 2 years and came to an end until the 5th and most recent generation came out in 2013. The intentions with this new Viper were to make it more forgiving and accessible to the general public. This new SRT10 Viper came stock with an 8.4 liter, 640 horsepower V10 engine, and it also had a 6-speed transmission to go with it. In 2015, the Viper was rebranded from the SRT10 Viper to simply the Dodge Viper. The production of the Dodge Viper ended in 2017, but there are rumors going around that it's supposed to return in the near future.
Wow, that's a pretty sweet car.
I agree. How cool would it be to own your very own Dodge Viper?
No kidding. I love that show.
Moving on. We'd like to let you know, our audience, about an exciting event on campus.
That's right. Today, NWTC will be doing a free make and take.
As of 10 a.m. this morning, students can create and take home pillows resembling our school mascot, an eagle.
Well, I'll know what I'll be doing as soon as System Override is done streaming. Let's move on.
When individuals began to collect more money than entire governments, things changed. Instead of buying islands, the Eris family bought entire countries. Fast forward several generations, and the Eris family owned 72% of the free world. They set up their own government, centered entirely around business. They called it the conglomerate. You could have set me down nicely, you know.
You can talk?
I can. Can't we all?
What are you?
What do I look like?
A cube?
I'll pretend you didn't just say that.
Do you have a name?
A name? I don't remember.
You don't remember your own name?
It appears not. All I'm sensing is that I'm the second.
The second what?
I am unsure. Why don't you call me Beta, then? What about you? Do you have a name?
It's Jackson, but everyone just calls me Jack.
All right, Jack Jackson.
It's just Jack.
Do you know where I am? I seem to be in a different place than I was before.
You're in my apartment?
Strange.
Thanks.
Oh, that wasn't a compliment.
How can you even see?
The same as you, with my visual sensors.
Your what?
You know, the things you use to see. Unless you're disabled.
Why are you whispering? I can see just fine.
Oh, I don't want to offend anyone. I know how personalities can be these days. Speaking of personalities, Joe back at the lab. For someone who recently got married, they seem not to be able to operate on the... Hey, Jack Jackson.
What?
Tell me about yourself. Who are you?
I'm no one.
Oh, you must be someone. You're here after all, aren't you?
I'm like an extra in everyone else's movie. I pay my dues to society and then that's it.
Everyone has their place and purpose.
Even employees like me who are going on with no forward momentum.
As they used to say, Believing in yourself is the first step towards anything, Jack Jackson.
It's just Jack.
I'm sure your company would crumble to the ground without you.
My company is in the Eris Corporation.
Are they still around?
Are they still... The Eris family is the most powerful family in the entire conglomerate. They run the police force, the government, and all the employees.
Huh. Good for them.
You're a weird little cube.
That show draws me in every time I see it.
That's so true. I can't wait until it all comes together. Did you know that story is written by our very own Caleb McCabe?
Isn't he a student here? That's awesome.
That's all we have time for today. Thanks for checking out episode 190 of System Override.
I'm Joe.
And I'm Brian.
Be sure to tune in next time. Have a great day.